I'm Cynthia Jasper, and I'm here with Michael Schlicting. Michael is a project assistant, and I am a professor in the Department of Civil Society and Community Studies here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We conducted a study looking at future employee transportation planning for the Foxconn development site here in Wisconsin. The goals of the project were to develop and evaluate transportation options for Foxconn employees based upon the 2017 contract between Foxconn and the state of Wisconsin. We also recommend investments in transit and other transportation infrastructure to accommodate the 13,000 potential Foxconn employees and allow the economic development that the project was initiated for. Michael, please discuss the methods, findings, and implications of the study.
All right. Hello, everybody. As Cynthia mentioned, my name is Mike Schlichting, and I'm the project assistant on this research. This was fascinating because it was kind of the case of so many things happening in a short period of time that how do you put together a valid research package? A little bit of background. So Foxconn in 2017 approached the President of the United States, and working with the governor at the time, they decided to put one of the largest factories, high-tech factories in the Mount Pleasant area for Wisconsin. And within just a short period of 6 months, Mount Pleasant went from just being a quiet little community to a potential employment center of 13,000 plus employees. So our job with our research was, how do we put together a plan to accommodate all these potential employees? Now, as you do your research, there wasn't any, actually very little research out there for a project of this magnitude to benchmark. So first thing we did was just looked at other cities. So we looked at everything from the Amazon Headquarters 2 project to Denver's Union Station project to Austin to DC, even going to San Francisco and what's going on in Silicon Valley, and see the best practices, how they're adjusting to having a high-tech industry, and then even going as far as to Japan and how do they handle their transportation infrastructure. And then combine that with data from the Department of Transportation, the Bureau of Transportation Statistics, as well as census data and BLS data to get a picture of what could Mount Pleasant look like after the factory is totally built out by 2022. So we put that together. Luckily, during this research process, the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, or SEWRPAC, came out with a study that was the basis for our research, except they just mostly looked at what the transit system, changes need to be made to the transit system in Racine. Our research took it to the next level, which was this connection between housing. For example, 13,000 employees suddenly in a small town of Mount Pleasant, where are they all going to live? And that determines the transportation needs that they'll demand to get to and from the factory. So we looked at the housing stock in Racine, the housing stock in Kenosha, commute times to the available homes in Milwaukee area, and then even going down to Chicago area. So putting that all planned together of where they would live, then how would they, then our research was how would they get to the Foxconn site. And the struggle was, Foxconn was a evolving project. Originally started out as 13,000, then it got scaled down, so that determines your investment. So we eventually came to a strategy where, in our research, where if it's the type of employee, if it's a factory worker, for less than 1,500 factory workers, we'll have this plan, which is essentially just the status quo. 1,500 to 3,000 workers, increasing coach bus service to the site from Milwaukee to reduce that commute time, because that was actually the struggle, was using public transit. A lot of cases, if someone wanted to live in Milwaukee and commute down to the Foxconn site, we were looking at commute times of over 2 hours one way. So that would be extremely problematic for Foxconn even recruiting. But then looking at 6,000 employees to 13,000 employees, and one of the things we discovered was the jewel that is the Hiawatha, Amtrak's Hiawatha service between Milwaukee and Chicago, and the idea of using that Sturtevant station to commute. And this model was actually taken from a lot of what happens with the bullet train operation in Japan. So it was a fantastic journey. Unfortunately, the other incredible part about that research was how so many players came together so quickly. It was fascinating. So the future of Foxconn is still uncertain, but the great news from our research is there's a plan put it together. The other implications for policy is not only this relationship between housing, employment, and the transportation between, but also how there needs to be regional coordination. One of the struggles is that each town in Wisconsin has its own authority over its transportation system, and there's really very little coordination. One of the benefits of this research was how a whole region came together to start putting a plan together, to using the upgrading interstate, to looking at Amtrak service, to autonomous vehicles even. So it was a fantastic journey. I'm hoping so that Foxconn either becomes something or that we're laying the groundwork for future expansion. After all, Foxconn was just a component of what they're calling the IQ corridor between Chicago up to Milwaukee, continuing up to Minneapolis. So we hope our research has laid a groundwork that can be used in the future. So I'll turn it back to you, Cynthia, for your concluding remarks.
Thank you, Michael, for all your work and insights. And we thank the Tommy G. Thompson Center for Public Leadership for their generous support over the course of the study. Thank you.